So you're aware of it. So now that you're aware of that you're a procrastinator, then you have to stop procrastinating. All right, Josh, you can appreciate this. I'm a life coach too, so I was coaching, waiting for you to come back on.
I don't know what's going on with my phone. I just picked up my daughter. I got the times all mixed up.
Oh,
So yeah.
I've been
How are
on here
you?
tap dancing. I am well. This is Josh. Is it Bear or Bear?
It's Bear.
Okay, it's
Think of
Bear.
the animal.
Okay, all right. So this is Josh Bair, everyone. Everybody's been waiting for you. He's the most sought after life coach and relationship expert in the DMV. I'm right in Maryland too. Josh creates cutting edge and relevant content that helps guide people through their relationships, career, and work life, and also spirituality. Josh has transformed thousands of lives with his coaching through events, speaking engagements, seminars, one-on-one coaching. His witty personality and unique style and delivery has made Josh Bair one of the most top experts in the area and most relatable. Josh hopes to inspire people on the daily basis by helping them through personal relationships and mentoring through Christ. Welcome to Sheen Talk.
Thank you so much for
Oh,
having me.
Kendéllenice, you are
Thank you so
welcome.
much for having me. I count it a privilege to be here, and I can't wait to get into it.
Yes, when your publicist reached out to me to do this, and I saw that you do exactly what I do, I was like, oh, definitely, this will be fun.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
I'm all for it.
this
I
will
am
be
all for it.
fun. Well, welcome. So what part of the DMV are you in? I'm in Maryland. What part of the DMV? And for those that don't know, DMV is DC, Maryland, and Virginia.
I am in Baltimore.
Okay. So
Yeah,
you're not too far from me. All right. So maybe we got to do some work together, but that's a whole nother show.
that's a whole nother show.
That's a whole. So tell me, welcome first to Sheen Talk, and how long have you been a life coach, and why did you decide like this is the field of expertise you wanted to enter?
Well, I come from a rich background of pastors, and so
Mm-hmm.
naturally, I didn't want to box myself in. I really didn't. I wanted to be able to reach a multiplicity of people, and so yeah, a lot of my content is spiritually based, um, but I keep an open mind to help other people who don't believe what I believe. So I've been in it all my
Mm-hmm.
life, but most recently, seriously, at least 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think that that's awesome. I've been life coaching for 20 years, and I love to see when new coaches come out and really follow that passion of helping people and their calling. And just like in ministry, you have a calling.
Yeah.
And do you feel that coaching and helping people is one of your callings?
Yeah, yeah. I always say one of my philosophies is if you can change your thinking, you can change your life.
Mm-hmm.
If you can change the way you think, you can change
Mm-hmm.
the trajectory of your life, and
Mm-hmm.
that's rooted in scripture, but that's very practical. And I want to see people change their thinking because change thinking changes behavior.
Yeah, say
So
that. And it's
yeah, so
no, I agree.
that's really my mantra.
Yeah,
Change your thinking, change your life. You can
I
change your life if you
agree.
can change your thinking. Yep.
It was before you came on, as you know, I was doing some coaching and answering some questions, and someone said that they procrastinate and they want to stop procrastinating. And that is a prime example of what you just said. Change your thinking, you can change your life. And then the first step is really owning up to that you're a procrastinator. So what advice would you give the young lady who says, I'm a procrastinator?
I don't know if procrastination is so much a bad thing.
Okay,
This is in this,
timing.
this me. I think one of the tension with being gifted, people who are gifted, are oftentimes procrastinators. People who are have a multiplicity of they can do this and that. It's not just this; it's also that. And the
Mm-hmm.
hard part of being gifted is that giftedness without direction is a curse.
Mm.
And so procrastination is a part of the curse of being gifted. So it's really not a curse. It's an indicator that you might be gifted. What you need to do is change the way you think and understand that gifts, being able to be multifaceted, to be able to be multi-talented, there is an interconnectivity of the gifts. They don't work by themselves. One opens up the door to the other. And so if you are gifted, understand if you choose one thing, it'll open up the door for the other things that you do, because they don't work in silos. They're interconnected. At least that's what I believe.
Okay. And then that's why you're the guest, definitely, because we want to hear, your views and your takes and what you believe.
Yeah.
You do relationship coaching as well, and you're an expert, right?
I'm
What
trying to be.
makes what makes Josh an expert in relationship coaching?
Transparent moment is what makes, I don't know if it's expert. I want to say that I'm real. And I think a part of being a relationship coach, I think you have to have experience in relationships. But I also am in a relationship myself. I just celebrated 4 years
Come on,
to my wife,
congratulations.
Bree.
Yeah.
We,
Hey,
we
Bree.
and what's amazing about the relationship is I'm learning as I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a part of my expertise, is that um, I'm not just I'm not just giving advice about something I don't know. I'm giving advice about what I'm currently experiencing. And I
Mm-hmm.
think if you don't experience, I think if you get advice from someone who hasn't experienced it, there's always going to be a disconnect. And so because
Mm-hmm.
I'm in a relationship, I've been in a relationship for 4 years to her, and prior before that, we were in a relationship for 4 years before that. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And so, 8 years, almost 7 or 8 years we've been together. So I pull from that relationship. And the other thing is, I try to be brutally honest with myself, even the side of myself that is weak. And what I mean by that, I had a very real conversation with my wife about, how she feels. She just had a baby. She just
Mm-hmm.
had a baby. And
Congratulations.
we just had our baby, our second baby, uh, two months ago. So
Oh, you got a new baby.
yeah, so what happens when you have a newborn and you have a 3-year-old is sometimes your focus shifts. And so
Mm-hmm.
um I use a lot, I'm not going to get all the way into it, but I use a lot of the things that I'm going through to also give guidance and clarity to other people. So yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's the best way. Hey, Cass. I think that's the best way to do it, because you can coach from a place of honesty and transparency. It's different because you have the education or certification, but you also have the life experience. And I think that that's a great place to coach. As a coach, I totally get that, because you have to have that experience so you can pass it on to someone else. You often talk about the secrets to keeping the relationship successful. Let's talk about that.
Communication. It's no secret, but it's a secret, because one of the things that I love about my relationship is
Mm-hmm.
that sometimes I take some of the gems that my wife gives me. And one of the things that she always says is, um, we are talking, but we're not speaking the same language. And so communication
Mm-hmm.
is about meeting in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if you're at a camera, if you're at a studio or watching a game, there's several cameras going on, and it doesn't mean that what you're seeing from a different angle is wrong. It just means you're seeing it from a different angle.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of relationship is about getting in the other person's angle.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of the times we miss each other in communication is because you haven't gotten in the other person's angle. You're seeing it from where you are.
Mm-hmm.
And in order for there to be a cohesiveness in the relationship, you have to be able to be selfless enough to be able to get into their angle, see how they see, you will never grow with somebody if you're not planted in the same vineyard per se. So you have to get
Facts.
in the angle. You have to understand who they are, where they come from, what's their background. All of that stuff is extremely important to be able to understand someone's life. And when you get married, or when you live with somebody, or you're in a relationship, you're not just marrying them. You're marrying you're not marrying them, or you're not just dating them. You're dating and marrying their experience.
Yep.
You're dating and marrying their family.
Yep.
And all of that plays a major role. And so if you don't sit under to understand where they come from, you'll always miss them.
Come on, say that last line again.
If you don't,
and Kaz got the hands up.
If you don't sit under to understand them, that's what understand means, to sit under something. You will always miss them.
Yep, I so agree. Kaz is saying prayer hands. We've had these conversations. I've had her on here with her fiance. Robin says she's an overthinker. The problem with me, she says, I just don't want to fail. If you keep thinking about failing, then that's what's going to be. You have to look at a failure as a lesson learned. So you change your verbiage also. And stop being afraid, because the more you're afraid of something, the more it's going to enter your life. So you have to totally change that. All right, so you go ahead.
I think and fear comes from a vulnerability. It comes from insecurity. I think problems are better solved when they are seen as challenges.
Yep.
Problems are better solved when they are seen as challenges. If you give your problem the power to control you, it will always leave you depleted. Problems are solved when they are seen as challenges.
That's right.
Yeah.
Agreed. Very well said. You talk about communication, and you spoke about it a little earlier, but you also say that communication is a curse. What do you mean by that?
Communication is a curse. Help me.
The curse of communication.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The curse of communication is similar to what I just said, is that we are not speaking the same language. Is if we become comfortable, like I told this, I'll just use a very real example. If in year 4 of my relationship with my wife, I am communicating with her the same way I did in year 1, I'm robbing her from the opportunity to grow, and I'm robbing myself from the opportunity to understand her. So if I'm still in year 1 and she's in year 4, and she's trying to communicate, because relationships are about maturation, they're about growth. And if you are still in year 1 communicating like she's before the babies, before all of that, you would have robbed yourself from the opportunity to see her in a different space, a different place. And you are robbing yourself from getting the love you may need from her where she is right now. So, I think that's a part of one of the curses of communication, is that if it can be a curse if you still stay where you in your preference. That's it.
Yeah.
If you stay in your preference for where you were, and you don't want to grow and develop, or you are neglecting the growth and development in somebody else, it'll hinder the relationship. So that's a part of the curse of communication.
Why do you think people have miscommunication so much in relationship? And how do they get back on the same page as far as communication?
Okay. Say the first part again.
Why do you think people in relationships and marriages and coupledom, if you will? Why do you think so many people have trouble communicating? And how can they more effectively communicate with one another?
Okay. I believe this. I'm not sure if I'm right about this, but this is what I believe. I believe women are better at communicating than men because women are better, are more tapped into their emotions or understand where they are emotionally more than men do. Because I believe women are nurtured to embrace their emotions. Men are
Mm-hmm.
are not nurtured to embrace their emotions. And so in heterosexual relationships, because that's what I know. In heterosexual relationships, sometimes the the um, the comfort is to women communicate what from a real place. Not to say men don't, but if a man is not in tune with his communication and is not in tune with his emotions, he can't communicate it properly. So the disconnect becomes, I know where I am. You don't know where
Mm-hmm.
you are. And you can also not articulate where you are, but I can. And
Mm-hmm.
so you miss each other. That's how I think we miss each other sometimes. I also think we miss each other when we live in the world of assumptions. Now, what I
Okay.
mean by that, um, assumptions rob you from from a truth. Um, Assumptions rob you from the truth in the sense that if you assume something, you really don't have hard facts. I'm not saying you don't have discernment. I'm not saying you don't have an intuition. I'm not saying that. I am saying that sometimes in relationships, getting the cold hard facts is the most important thing. And so get out of assumptions and don't go off of your assumptions because you'll
Mm-hmm.
create a reality in your mind and it may be true or it may not be true.
Mm-hmm.
But if you create that emotional space, that sometimes can keep you in captivity in your own
Mm-hmm.
mind, emotional
Mm-hmm.
captivity. So that's one of the other things. How do we get people relationships back on track that are off track? Um, I believe in counseling.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in counseling.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't think that it's safe if you are if I don't think it's safe for the relationship. If you want longevity in the relationship, I do not think it's safe to go at it by yourself without somebody else who can be a sound and unbiased mind or
Agreed.
unbiased voice. So I
Agreed.
believe holistically in um, counseling. I think
For
that's one of
sure.
the steps. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, that's good stuff. I want to just backtrack a little bit. There are some men who are more in touch and in tune with their emotions than women
absolutely,
and who can
absolutely,
communicate their feelings more than some women. So it
absolutely.
all starts with that family of origin.
Right,
And I think you're letting men off the hook by saying they can't do it. You get what I'm saying? Or they don't do it as well
absolutely.
because
I
there's some
actually,
men.
yeah, and
It,
I want to be careful not to do that. Obviously,
yeah,
there is some exceptions. There are some exceptions on both sides of the table,
absolutely. Yeah.
and yeah, I am in tune with my emotions, but sometimes it's harder to communicate them. And so I think you're absolutely right. It's about the background, the dynamic, the family.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't want to leave any. I don't want to leave any misinformation. Like
Yeah.
men are off the hook. Men are off the hook, and
Yeah.
they just, they just doing whatever they want
Yeah.
to do because they can't
Because if a
communicate.
man comes from a family that all they want to do is talk it out or
Right.
express their emotions, and then the woman is like, okay, I get it. You do this very well. But,
Absolutely.
typically they do. You're not the only one that's ever said that. People definitely think that,
Yeah.
in many cases, it's the woman who does it well. I agree when you
Yeah.
talk about assumptions, right on point. That was
Yeah.
excellent, right on target, and it does rob you, from that ability. And that's where that communication, as you said, comes in, where you can have that effective communication instead of just assuming. Just ask.
Right. Exactly. Just ask. And yeah, get to the core. Just ask. Yeah,
Right.
that's my take on it.
That's good. That's good. All right. So many people in relationships become disappointed when the woman or the man is not who they thought they would be, right? How does someone, if they're in a relationship and they realize, okay, this woman or this man is not this, or marriage is not what I thought it would be, or this relationship, how would you coach someone through that?
Marriage is about maturation. And
Mm-hmm.
so every relationship goes through a maturation. Like I said previously, if you are stuck, in believing that your partner cannot grow, you rob them again of the ability
Mm-hmm.
to grow.
Yeah.
So I believe that you have to give your, if you authentically love your spouse, if you authentically love this person, you have to give the person the space to grow. And
Mm-hmm.
see, this is the other thing. One of the other interesting things is that sometimes when we get to the altar, or when we get to the altar, and that may be a physical altar of marriage, I'm talking about marriage specifically, but when we get to the altar of marriage, sometimes we marry the assumption. We marry our expectation. We don't
Mm-hmm.
marry the person. We don't actually marry the person. We marry an expectation of the person. And what that
Yeah.
does is that it creates tension in the relationship, and it creates disappointment in the relationship, because you assume, again, there goes that word, you assume that they are going to change for you. And the
Yeah.
goal is not that they change for you. The goal is that they change for themselves. You don't have the power to change, never take on the authority or the mindset that you can change anyone. You are now taking on an authority that's just that's asinine. Like, you don't have that ability. You don't have the ability to change
Yeah.
anyone. You should come into a relationship that you expose someone to something better.
Yes.
And you pray that what you expose them to, it makes them turn, or there's a
Yes.
change in their mind. So I
Yes.
always say exposure is currency. If you want
Yeah.
to see change in your spouse, if you want to see change in the person that you're dealing with, expose them to something better.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. That's really good. So I want to ask your final question. I want
Mm-hmm.
you to, women marry for potential, wrong. Men must get tuned in. They deserve it for themselves. Absolutely. Absolutely. So
Yeah.
let's talk about how can you be a better mate to your partner, whether it's your fiance, whether it's your girlfriend or boyfriend, whether it's your spouse. How can you be a better mate? Can you give about 2 or 3 tips before, as we end, someone can be a better mate to their
Yeah,
significant other?
I think we say it all the time. You can't be better for someone until you're better for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you need to really prioritize self. Get to know yourself. Where are
Yeah.
you emotionally? Where are you
Yeah.
mentally? Where are
Yeah.
you physically?
Yeah.
Where are you psychologically? You
Yeah.
need to deal with self. You need to go in. You need to go internal before you go external, because the
Yeah.
internal always looks like the external, or the external always looks like the internal. So go internal. When you go inside, you'll be able to have clarity, which means that you'll be able to communicate who you are to someone, and you'll be able to help someone, because that's what I think relationships are about: helping someone become their best selves. There's the go internal. I also think if you want to be better for your spouse, um, get rid of ego, get rid of pride.
Yes. That's good.
Become selfless,
That's
not
good.
selfish. Become selfish. Selfish. You gotta become. Gotta get rid of that pride. You gotta get rid of your need to always be right.
Come on.
And that is the hardest thing, because, when two people are extremely passionate about what they are about each other, what they bring to the table, if there's kids involved, if there's finances involved, if there's all of these other external things involved, there's passion behind that. And
Yeah.
sometimes we miss each other trying to hold on to our preferences, missing our purpose,
Come
because
on.
it's
Boom. Wait. You can't just go past that like that. Say that again.
sometimes we hold on to our passions, we hold on to our preferences, and we miss our purpose. And I
Yes.
believe that the purpose of someone else coming into your life is to help you.
Yeah.
And not that mean not doesn't mean that you're broken, doesn't mean that
Yeah.
you're crazy. I just believe that people need people.
Yeah.
And
I do too.
so
That's
so
good.
somebody else is coming into your life because they're gonna add value. And if you hold on to what you're holding on to, it stops them from uh, bringing value to your life. Yeah.
That's good. That's a good way to end. Dag, I wish we had more time with you. We got to
I
definitely
wanna do it again
reschedule you.
if we can.
Yes, yes, because we
My
missed a few
apologies.
minutes. You know, we missed the time in the
I
beginning.
let me apologize to you and the audience. That is not my intention. I was completely sure tonight was at 7, so let me apologize. I
No
am very
problem. It
sorry about that.
happened. It
Yeah.
happened. But it was a pleasure, and I got to get with you also to on different platforms as well, you and your
Okay.
wife, because my husband and I have a talk show that I would love to
Oh,
extend
that's
that
so
to you.
cool.
Yeah, so we'll talk. We talk to couples, and someone else said that they would want you for that too. So, you
Oh,
know,
wow.
people
Thank
that
you.
are supposed to see you, they see you today.
All
And we'll
right. Thank you
definitely
so
have
much.
you
This was
back.
amazing.
Yes, Josh Bair, everyone. He is a life coach and a relationship expert. Make sure you follow him on social media. How, if they are looking to work with you as far as a coach, quickly tell them how they can reach you.
You can reach me. My link tree. You can reach me at Josh Bair. Um, Josh Bair. JOSH for my middle name. My real name is Joshua Hugh Bair.
Okay.
So Josh
Oh, okay.
H Bair. That's BAIR at gmail.com.
I
So
love that.
JOSHHBAIR at gmail.com.
I love that. Everyone, make sure you follow him. He was dropping some gems. People are loving you in the comments. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it's a lot of things. Major keys, dropping gems, remove the ego, self-check first. That's good. So everybody is with y'all. If you love more, if you want to hear more, definitely follow him on social media. Josh, thank you so much for joining me on Sheen Talk today.
I appreciate the honor. It's an honor and privilege to be able to do this with you. Can't wait to
Yes.
connect again.
Yes, we will. We definitely will. We're in the same area too. But thank you everybody for tuning in to Sheen Talk. Make sure you follow him. I am Kendelllenice, Transformational Life Coach, and your talk show host for Sheen Talk. God bless you, everyone. Make sure you come back. We have another interview